Health Promotion with Special Populations. My name is Dr. Spencer Willis. I go by Dr. Willis or Dr. Spencer, Professor Willis or Professor Spencer, either or. So the purpose of this presentation is to present a course overview using the syllabus. In this presentation, we're going to go over the course description, assignments, and due dates. It's recommended that you take notes during this presentation because you're going to have a syllabus quiz. And if you haven't done so already, you either need to print it out and highlight and take notes as I go on throughout the presentation, or you can watch the presentation and take notes on your own, depending on the individual. So whatever you prefer to do. But I'm going to go on. So in the syllabus, you have my office information, office hours, the phone number, and the office fax number. You also have my email address. And the required text is Special Populations in the Community. It's a dated text. It's 1999, and it's by Sebastian and Bushy. This text presents a series of case studies that are discussed with various special populations of various race, ethnic groups, or vulnerable populations, whatever you want to call them. It's a good text, and even though it's dated, most of the information that's presented here is still applicable in today's society. So just make note of that. The course description, the course description. This course seeks to identify healthcare issues relevant to at-risk populations or communities, and also facilitate any health promotion or disease prevention activities. Like I said before, ideally we would deal with vulnerable populations. Depending on the case study, depends on the population. So there are some case studies that look at race ethnic groups, and some case studies that look at different non-ethnic groups, such as your LGBT population, or migrant farm workers, or subjects or populations of that nature. So just to give you an idea of what's expected or what's to come in a textbook. So you can read over the course objectives on your own. I'm going to go ahead and focus on the course requirements. So letter A, assignments and intro quiz. There are going to be 9 assignments in this course throughout the semester, and it's important that you have those assignments submitted by Wednesday at noon. Excuse me. You also have an intro quiz, and that's going to be presented, or that's going to cover information that's in this presentation. So make sure that you're taking notes accordingly so you can pass the quiz. With your assignments need to be submitted in a Word document. So that means that it needs to end in the suffix .doc or .docx. So if you're using a MacBook to do your coursework, if you're using Pages, for example, it should give you the option to save in .doc or .docx. If you save in any other way, then I may not be able to open it, and that's going to affect your grades. So make sure you're saving them in the appropriate format. Also, in some of the assignments, you may be required to use resources besides your textbook. And when you do that, you have to make sure that you cite those sources with the appropriate APA citations or format. So if you need any additional information about APA format and the guidelines, there's a great website. It's owl.purdue.edu. If that's not the website, then you can always just Google APA, OWL, Purdue, and it should be the first couple of links that pop up. But they give you information about in-text citations and also your reference page. So make sure you take advantage of those resources for APA, because you will have points deducted if you do not follow APA guidelines. And again, those assignments are due Wednesdays at noon. Excuse me. Next, we have the Health Organization and Website Report. So in the semester, you're going to develop a report on the health organization that's found in Chapter 27. You're going to submit a 2-page paper that's going to address the website. It's going to summarize who they are, what they do, when were they started, where they're located, and why they exist. And also you need to relate it back to a chapter in the book or chapter topic in the book, and also write a personal reaction to the website, including how can you use this information personally and professionally. That needs to be turned in 2-page maximum. So I don't need anything that's more than 2 pages. I have 2 online classes, and they both do a lot of writing. So I want to make sure that I can grade as efficiently as possible. So be sure to keep it to a 2-page maximum. Next, we have the chapter presentations. Now, in this course, we have case studies, and I'm going to present the first 6 case studies, and then you're going to be responsible for chapters 7 through 26. So I'm going to assign groups. There are about 30. I think there are 35 students registered for this course. So there may be, let's see, it may be a couple of groups of 2. Maybe some majority of groups will be groups of 2, and then there'll be some groups of 3. Um, and then because 7 through 26, that's about 20 chapters. Um, some groups may be required to do uh, 2 presentations, and those groups who want to do 2 presentations, they will receive 5% added onto their final grade. So that extra credit is first come, first serve. So I'm going to assign groups, and then you're going to be responsible for emailing your group members, and then you choose which chapter you want from chapter 26 to 27. And if you want 2 chapters, then let me know. But again, it's first come, first serve. So they're going to be 16 groups of 2, and then 1 group of 3, so that's 17 groups total. And then 1 group, or some groups would be required to do more than 1 chapter. So you need to email me your preference by January 27th. And then I will email the class back of what chapters are taken and what's remaining. And when you're presenting, you need to have a PowerPoint presentation that has a 15-slide minimum. You need to make sure that you use, or I encourage you to use any video links, pictures, or etc. that's going to make sure that you captivate your audience. So your peers are your audience, and you want to make sure that you present this information as accurately as possible, but also you want to make sure that it's attentive, or it grabs attention. So be creative when you're developing your presentations. If you need any additional information about that, then just email me. Next, we have your discussion requirements. So there are going to be 10 discussion forums, or you can choose 10 discussion forums, but really you can choose 8, because week 15 and week 10 are mandatory. So the discussions are worth 20 points. So there's 10 points for your initial post and 20 points for 10 points for your initial post and 10 points for responding to someone else's post. Make sure that you follow these guidelines for your initial post and responding to the someone else's post, because that's going to determine whether you get your full 20 points or not. And then typically I try to have those graded 48 hours after the discussion period ends. Sometimes it may be difficult for me to meet that grading deadline, so I may start grading discussion on the weekend when I normally grade your assignments. So if you don't have a grade by the close of that discussion period, then don't panic. I'm usually grading during the weekend when I have a little bit more available time. And then lastly, you have your exams. So you have 2 exams. Their midterm and their final exam. 150 points each, so that's 30% of your grade. The test will consist of true, false, and multiple choice questions, and also some application questions. And they're going to cover everything that's in the textbook. So be sure that you buy your textbook for one, and then you take notes from your presentations that you guys upload to doc sharing. I don't think I said that, but your chapter presentation should be uploaded to doc sharing so that everyone can have access to them. And then also take notes from the presentation and from the book, so you can truly understand the case study, so you can pass your midterm and final exams. This is an overview of the grading. So you have 9 assignments, 20 points each, plus your intro quiz. That's 200 points. Your chapter presentations are worth 200 points. And again, those groups who do 2 presentations will get the additional 5% at the end of the semester. You have your participation and discussion, which is 10 at 20 points each. Your health organization website, midterm and final, and then it's totaled up to 1,000 points. And it follows a similar grading scale to 90 to 100, 900 to 1,000 to 8, etc., etc. So make sure you try to get at least 900 points this semester if you want an A. And then on the last page, I just have the outline. So you have your due dates, and you have what chapters we're going to cover by what week. So we switched chapters. Oh, I'm sorry. We switched courses earlier before the semester started quite recently. So chapter 1 and chapter 2 are going to be presented by Dr. Quinn, and then I'm going to cover chapter 3 through chapter 6. So don't panic when you read when you see those presentations, and that's not my voice. Then you have the deadlines here, so make sure you complete your intro quiz by the 18th. That's Wednesday at noon, and you have your homework assignment on the 27th, and etc. etc. Make sure you follow those due dates. If you have any questions about anything, just feel free to email me, and if it's appropriate, I can post or email the class if I need to make any clarifications on anything. I'll see you guys in chapter 3.